Oh, hey, look, we're live. Welcome to episode 179 of Sawdust Nation Podcast with your host, Nap from Nap's Nutty Works, LLC, and myself, Josh from North Country Woodworking. I don't know about you, but the time off was fun with Thanksgiving. I got some stuff done, but man, these last 2 days at work have been a killer. Anywho,
They're not fun.
I'm hoping that you're getting some good shop time in, and we could jump over to you to see what's in your shop. Let's have it.
You got jokes.
No, but I do got pizza.
Honestly, though, that pizza, I gotta tell you what. So Josh gets on, right? And I just got done smashing a bowl of ramen. By the way, not sure why ramen is so good. I'm pretty sure they sprinkle a little something in there that shouldn't go in there.
Cocaine.
But I eat the hell out of some ramen. Like, I'm like, oh, it's so good. But there's one I can't eat. Which one? Like, I don't mind spicy, but there's something about like the spicy packets that, if it's not enough water, it's like almost too spicy. It's like a concentrated spice. It's not even too spicy. It just doesn't taste good. And I try to drink it and drink the broth, and I'm like, oh, can't do it. But chicken, pork, and all that, so delicious. I don't know why. And then, of course, the pizza that Josh is eating. If I had that with it, it would have made the night that much better. However, shop time. So, there's something about the world and the universe and how jobs work. It always happens in waves, right? Now, I'm grateful because, this money is going to be well received, and it's going to push me to get some things coming up here. And actually, I'm probably going to make some purchases and probably put the business in a small hole here soon. But there's never been a hole I've been able to dig myself out of as far as the business is concerned. It'll just take a little longer because I'm in North Dakota. But I've already got a potential buyer for my current laser that I have because I'm going to be replacing the laser I have. My laser's done me well for 3 years now, and there's no sign of it really decaying. I might even just for giggles, I'm going to buy a new tube for it. So when I send this person the laser, like, hey, you bought it for this, it's going to include in the price because the price is, I told them to sell them to it for $1,000. It was $5,000 when I bought it. So, and it's an unnamed brand laser. So the customer support, well, it would be me. So there's that. I'm going to be going with an OMTech of sorts. Won't say which one yet. Only because they haven't released it yet. So I'm gathering more intel, more information. But I can say that if you've ever seen an epilogue laser operate CO2 and fiber separately, that is something I might be going to. The model number, I don't even know it is for OMTech. It's just called hybrid. It's something that they've been toying with. So this person that may be buying my laser knows it's probably not going to happen until like the beginning of the new year, like a couple months in. So like the first quarter of the new year, which is fine. I'm going to be pulling the trigger also in the first quarter on the Elite upgrade, not the Elite Foreman machine, but the upgrade itself to upgrade my machine to run the Mazzo controller. And then getting with Daniel to get his ATC system. So what's going to happen with that, though, is I think I'm going to operate MTC for now until because I'll get the controller, or not the controller, but the ATC setup first. Get all the things working the way I want it to, and then I'll get the Mazzo, and because the Mazzo itself is going to be a whole upgrade between wires, new hoses, all this other craziness. There's a lot to it. And then the operation of the Mazzo is relatively different than what I'm currently using. The touchscreen is actually a lot better, and it has more gadgets and gizmos you can hook up to it. And it's also the controller. So I won't have two separate boxes anymore. I'll have one box. I'll have the box that runs the machine as well as the actual touchscreen that goes with it, with an actual emergency stop, which is kind of what's pushing me to get it. Because I got all these things. Hybrid laser sounds expensive. You know what? It is. But I'm going to tell you something. I spent, and I'm going to divulge my dollar amount that I paid for my Chinese laser. And I think I already said this, but I paid roughly $5,000 to my door from where it came from. Okay. Now, mind you, that's been paid off since I left Texas. But I mean, if it's in the ballpark of that, I'm expecting that expense. Like, I know it's coming. Well, Josh, like I said, I know it's going to be expensive. I said it's ballpark. Okay. I don't think it's going to be that much. I bet you it's not. But yours is the big boy, isn't it? Like size wise.
I'm telling you, with that kind of capability and that kind of technology, it's going to be expensive. A hybrid, a lot of things take a while to work out all the bugs.
Well, so yeah, cost is still a factor, right? I mean, if Josh's assumptions are correct, and that thing's closer to like 5 figures rather than 4 figures. Then maybe we pause, right? And I keep the laser I have for now. And that's why I said, like, I don't know. It hasn't come out yet. I've reached out for more information. I've been ghosted a little bit. And no surprise, really, because it's a new machine that they're coming out with. They're not just going to give some Joe Schmo information that's not out there yet. I'm just a Joe Schmo. Like, I'm not, some 100K viewer or 100K follower account that can ask questions like that and do giveaways and things. Like there was a giveaway that was just done for Thanksgiving. That laser is freaking amazing. And here's the thing. They're only giving those away. They're not putting them in production. That was as far as I got with that. I was like, well, that sucks because I want one of those. It was cool looking. And probably did some pretty good work. So there's that. But then, yeah, again, the Onefinity, I think upgrade will happen before the laser if the laser is much more expensive than the double upgrade for my CNC. Now, why would I upgrade my CNC to that extent? Well, so the Foreman has come out and you have, that capability with the Mazzo and all that, and it's cool. But I don't know about you all, but Daniel put a video out as far as changing the bit and doing all those things. I can assure you, if I could just push start and this thing did all the bit changes, all the touch offs for me, and I don't gotta do nothing, and the vac turns on by itself, and all these things. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I would love to just work on something in the shop and not have to stop at all what I'm doing. The amount of time saved between bit changes and wondering if it's going to be done or any of those things, it decreases dramatically. That is the beautiful thing about having that capability, and also makes production a lot faster. So I'm probably going to go with that soon as well. It hurts my soul to see the dollar amount, but it's the cost of doing business, I guess. But anyways, not off the upgrades, because now I'm going to go into what else I've done.
So let's talk about this laser a little bit more.
You missed your chance. I'm joking.
Like I was saying before, I have no doubt they have worked out a lot of the quirks and stuff like that. But historically speaking, like talk about any of the hybrid tools in woodworking, they're the ones out there that work, the kind of work and stuff like that. I don't have firsthand experience with these, but I've talked to enough people that have had them to, generally come out and say like, yes, it's space saving it's space saving, but they prefer to have each if they could. What size do you want to get of this laser? Like,
it'd be relatively the same size as what I have, right?
Okay.
Like it'll
have the footprint
would
be about the same, but it'd give you two different capabilities. One you've already had, one you haven't. Obviously the price is going to determine a lot there.
It is.
I foresee it being expensive due to the newness and everything around. I hope they don't, not that they would, because we worked at OMTech long enough, a X-Carve where they price it so far up there and they place a, new release discount. You know what I'm saying?
I think they're okay. So one thing I've noticed about OMTech is anytime they come up with something new, their pricing hasn't been far off what the standard is, which has been nice, right? They haven't. Yes,
but there's not many of these kind of lasers out there. In fact, I can't think of one on the top of my head.
Epilogue has one right now.
Really?
It's Epilogue, and then there's...
it's not the same, though. It's a little different, is it not?
No, actually. Mind you, and I'll explain. So Epilogue has one which I've used. I've used one. I've actually used it quite often here on base because... that's how they lasers their tools. And I had to show them how to realign and actually use their laser when all the people left. Yeah, it was great. So there's that. And then there's I think it's called Light Object. It's a foreign company. It's not Chinese, but it's another brand. And they've also already come up with their version of that.
Okay. So I was unaware of that. What's the price range for those?
I'd have to look. I don't remember.
I'm just really curious. I don't think they're gonna. If they're around the same price as like you're talking, it might be worth going that road.
Well, now let me put it to you this way. Now let's just say, okay,
we'll just put it out there.
Yeah, if OMTech comes out with this hybrid machine, and it is cheaper than buying two of those machines to make a similar outcome, then I will buy it. Because at the end of the day, I'll end up with a fiber laser anyways, because I want one.
I'm waiting for that time.
So, I mean, the options will always be there. I'm going to price things out. I'm not just going to dive into it like some people we know and make brash decisions and buy things and then not use them.
I've done that too.
And the thing is, I haven't. The only thing I haven't used as often as I would like to, because I haven't found the time to, based on projects and also just because I'm tired as hell coming home from work, is the rotary CNC. I've used it a few times. I've got projects in mind for it, but they're not sellable projects. They're my projects. They're stuff I want. They're stuff I want to make for me that I just haven't gotten to yet. So, like, I have the capability, and I've used it, just not as much as I would have liked to. It hasn't just sat in a box, not put together, is what I'm getting at. So there's all that, and people listening, or what's up?
Let's just back up a little. There's no tool in a box in your shop that you don't use as much as you thought.
No, I sold all those tools before I left San Antonio. A lot of the tools I have in my shop are used on the daily when I'm in the shop. Now, obviously some more than others, because not every job requires every tool I have in my shop. But for what I do and what I make, I use everything that I have. Because one thing I got tired of doing was going through my shop and just having random shit laying around that I'd never used. Like when I was in San Antonio and before I left, we had a garage sale. I sold the majority of that stuff. Like it doesn't exist.
That's one thing that I kind of missed out on, is I didn't have enough time in my series of events to have a yard sale and sell off a lot of the stuff I had. A lot of it was either given or just tossed to the corner. I tell you what, people around me in New Jersey made out like a freaking bandit because of the time crunch I was in. But
I'm sure they did. And honestly, it was the same for us too. Like there was shit. Dude, my truck was full. We couldn't fit anything else. I had to get rid of so many things that I didn't want to get rid of. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I didn't buy a new one of whatever it was I got rid of, and it's not in my house. So in a way, blessing in disguise, we decluttered a lot.
We're still decluttering. I don't know about you guys, but like there's a lot. We've been going through everything, especially like Christmas stuff and whatnot, just because, and we're looking and we're like, this is an empty box. We packed an empty box.
Why do we have this?
Yeah. And like, I got rid of like a whole bunch of tubs and a whole bunch of other stuff. Same thing with the shop. I've been going through that, and I've been trying to avoid, and I think everyone out there has something similar, the dreaded catch-all cup, bowl, what have you, Tupperware container of screws and nails and hardware and everything like that.
You know what I did with that?
Yeah, I know it's the best way. I usually let my son know. I say let. Usually when my son's in the shop, he asks for something to do, and that's one of the things I give him because he seems to enjoy it. At least he tells me he does.
Child labor. Perfect. Love it.
Yeah. I pay him 1 shilling for every coin or for every screw. But
is that like
he hasn't been out there. Half a penny. All right. So I've been trying to go through myself, and I've been trying to go, declutter as much as possible, especially because, like you said, when you move and everything else, you can really see what you're using and not using. But that brings in the question, the laser topic once again. Are you going to put it in the same location? Are you going to try to move your shop around? Because it might have different requirements and power requirements than you have set up for now.
So beautiful thing about my shop now, and even the power requirements change. So 2 things have occurred since I set up my shop. 1, I cut a 6x6 freaking hole in the ceiling of my attic to get into a space I couldn't get in before. That has changed the game because now I can fish wire down into the wall where I couldn't get it before. I had to do some crazy MacGyver shit to make the other one happen, to go past a certain board in the ceiling.
I remember you having issues with that,
Yeah, that was not fun. But now that I've figured things out, I also have all the things required to possibly run another circuit if I need to. And Victor, I'll get to your question here in a minute, bud. But the short answer is no. So requirements, if the requirements do change, okay, the walls are built a certain way. So each wall has a certain amount of outlets on it. And I purposely made it the way I did. So that way, if I did add stuff or have things that need more power capabilities or more plugs, if you will, I had the option to plug them in. So I still have open outlets on the wall where my CNC and laser are at that are on dedicated circuits. So I shouldn't have power issues. And if I do, like I said, I can rerun another one. It's not going to hurt. I think I want to say 10 spaces left in my my power panel. So as long as I'm not overjuicing it, we'll be fine. So there's that with the laser thing. I don't want to dwell on too much because it's not like a final thing yet, right?
No, but it's always
idea I had.
It's always fun to talk about like something that might be, potentially new in the shop. I mean, like just you might not go down that road. There might be something that comes out and you just want that more.
I might even buy foreign again, to be honest with you. You never know. I might buy from that light object place. As a matter of fact, actually, while you're talking, I'll look it up and I'll tell you how much it is. But from what I can tell, a lot of stuff made abroad.
Yeah,
it's been the one thing.
OMTech's made abroad as well. I mean, it's not like it's a secret or anything. Epilogue is made U.S., but I'm sure they have.
And that's why that's expensive.
Yeah, I actually, the Arts and Crafts Center here has two. They have a 120 watt and a 60 watt. Really well made machines. Obviously I get access to a lot of things because of my job. And because of that, I got to talk shop with a few people down there. But, as much as I would like to buy American made every time I buy something, I would be paying double, triple. And on top of that, it would be very hard to find. Even stuff that says it's American made, you look underneath it and it's made somewhere else half the time. It's an unfortunate thing. That's the way our economy is. We're not going to really get into the politics and all that of that, but it is what it is. And when you're doing a shop, a hobby, a small business like we are, you have to be kind of frugal of how you spend the money you generate, because we're not at that point. And NAP now feels this a little bit more. We're not in areas that are so overpopulated with military and people looking for projects that we're having the kind of jobs and the wave of income we would like to have to get nice things like that. And I think that's the majority of the people that listen to this and the majority of people that are doing this kind of work. It's just, the way it is. But anyway, going back kind of as he's looking up the laser, I have a UPS story for you guys. I laugh about it because it's funny in a way. So as we've discussed a couple times on the podcast, my projects, I stopped really procuring any kind of packing material due to the fact that, I was going to UPS and they were packing much of my bigger stuff for me fairly cheap and sending it out. I mean, for me not having to do anything, I can send everything out for generally around $20 to $30, and it's a done deal with all packing material and whatnot. Larger projects like my shadow boxes were around between, I think, $60 to $70. But again, the customer would pay for that, and that included the insurance and everything else that, comes with them packaging. So foolish me, I'm thinking it'd be the same here. That kind of leads you a little foreshadowing for you. So I got done with a project. We'll kind of get into that a little bit later. But it was requested on a certain day. They finally paid me like the day prior or the day that it was due. So I went and I rushed it in the shop, got it done, knocked it out. And I was going to ship it the same day. But when I went to the UPS, it was in a store. So from my understanding, it's franchised. And this could be part of the reason why I came across the issue I did. So we put it on the scale. It's like, I don't know. It's a couple pounds without packaging. And I was going to pay for packaging, and they're saying like it's $18 for packaging. And for what I see in front of me, it shouldn't be $18, but at this point in time, I need to get it out, whatever. It's already been agreed upon. The client was going to pay for all the rush, so it's okay. So I'm like, hey, how much is it be for the fastest shipping? I'm expected to hear a lot because that's the way it is. And we already had a price agreement for what the client was willing to pay. So I'm like, fastest. And he's like, $380 some. And I'm like, yeah, that's like twice as much as twice as much as the project. So what's the second? And then they're like 150. I'm like, okay. So what's the third? The third is like 5-day ground. That's what I normally tend to get anyway. So I'm expected to hear like $20 or like, I don't know, something overall paying like $30 for this entire endeavor, right? They quote me $85 without the packaging for 5-day ground UPS. No rush.
Are you talking about just when you take it there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to ship all that, homie. I'm sorry.
Okay. Stand by. So I look and I pull up Shippo and I type in the dimensions of the box they're going to use. I type in the weight that they calculated, the destination where I'm sending it from. And I was, sending it from here. And it's like $10. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, okay, can I speak to the manager? I'm not upset. I need someone to explain this to me because there's such a gross error between what I'm seeing on my end, if I did it myself, and for you to print out a label and send it from here. And the manager comes up and she explains to me, she's sorry, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I need someone to clearly explain to me what is going on with this because obviously, I don't understand. So I show the manager the Shippo and she's like, well, that seems like it's a business account. And because of that, I can't honor those prices because you need to set up an account with us and line. And then it takes so long for it to get approved. And I'm like, hold on. I have a business account with UPS Online. And she's like, well, this is a franchise. We kind of set our own prices and stuff like that. Yeah. Kids. Anyway, so long story short, they can't go any lower. They will not go any lower. So I'm like, okay, just go ahead and package it because I don't have anything at the house. I'll pay that. And I brought it home. I printed out a label. I paid $10 for it. The total for shipping and packaging was around $26, $30 ish. And then the UPS driver showed up shortly after and I sent it out. So I saved like $50 by not shipping through this UPS store. Now, the key word there, I think, is the franchise. I think if I would have found a UPS owned store that wasn't within another store, I probably would have ran into that. And that's what I have to go do now because like I don't want to start, having to do anything with my projects, especially the larger ones where I need to get large boxes and stuff like that. The house that we're in is much smaller than when I was, in Jersey. So like we're already kind of all the stuff. I already have my little corner over here. I don't want to grow it into the living room anymore. But I had a laugh about it on the way home. $70 for it's a 12 by I think 16 plaque that was like a half-inch thick. Like, and they wanted $70 to ship that 5 days shipping. Like, I paid for 3-day shipping, and I paid everything for under $30. So,
yeah. See, that's why. So, like when you were in New Jersey, you kind of had a sweet setup. Like when you explained the way you did it, I was like, okay, it makes sense for him there.
Oh yeah, I'm based too.
Yeah, not all UPSs were like that. I've as you've learned. Shippo between me, so mind you, buying shipping material, it's not cheap. Just not. It's not. I was able to narrow down to a certain size of boxes, different variations for different projects that I do. I've got 25 counts in my storage unit right now. So when I need to go get a box, I'll grab the box and whatever the case would be. And that was part of my shop too. That was when you start talking about decluttering.
Yeah.
But I've got bubble wrap right here. Got the 1/2-inch bubbles and the little 3/16 bubbles. And they're 300-foot rolls. For a 300-foot roll for the small and like 150 for the other one. But I'll tell you what, them things last me a good, depending on the size of projects. I think I've done up to 10 shadow boxes with those rolls, with also some custom stuff that I've done inside the boxes now that's made things a lot more rigid and a lot less possible for something to break. But anyways, Shippo's always been good for me. I think the most I spent on shipping, and it was because it was a very large project, it was $53.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, again, now you're talking about storage and having to buy that stuff. I'm really hoping that was a one-off experience because of it being a franchise. When you said that, it kind of started to make sense. If not, I will have to develop a process. But here's kind of the build up to what I'm trying to get at here. It's not necessary the whole having someone else package whatever, but I'm thinking about standardizing my plaque sizes and not having oddball ones so that they fit particular size boxes. So when I go ahead and price things, it's like, look, I have this size, this size, this size. Anything is going to cost more because of the fact that I have to redesign a box and then go kind of like that. That way I don't have to mess around. I already know what sizes I need. I can kind of prep wood for that. I can have blanks basically for plaques waiting because I already have a basic size. So basically what I've seen us on here from the beginning, we have gone from, kind of one-offs, customs, doing shipping and everything. But now we're trying to define our business in such a way it makes a financial sense and logistical sense as well. I think time and experience has played a huge role, but I'm honestly starting to think that's the direction I want to go. And part of that would be getting cardboard blanks, essentially large pieces of cardboard meant for shipping that I can use on the laser and design my own boxes. Because that is a feature that you can do. And then you perforate it and then you can fold it and then it basically cuts out, the shape of the box. I can engrave my logo on top. I can, turn a whole bunch of offcuts or whatnot to make packing material. There's a whole bunch of different things I can start personalizing myself and not pay another company to do. Is it the direction I'm going to move forward on? We'll see. I still have to do some research when it comes to the shipping and stuff around here. I have another project that I got a quick turnaround on because they just paid and their person's suddenly leaving early. So I'm working with them to see if they need to cancel or if they just want me to ship it directly to the person. Because again, they want me to ship it and have it there in a couple of days. And I worked. I got to work early and I left late because I'm taking a class. But anyway, yeah, it's just kind of the train of thought I've been having when it comes to shipping. And the UPS store kind of got me down that road.
Well, in other news on the shipping, and I'll talk about the projects I have going on in my shop.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one, the new thing I did. So USPS, never really had an issue with USPS as far as shipping. They scared me, though, because I dropped my package off Saturday, and it said, awaiting for your package, Monday. I was like, what? Because the little drop-off thing, dropped it off on the counter where it says drop-off packages here. It shipped today. It'll make it there on the day it's supposed to. But, man, I was about to call them. I was like, I checked the tracking before I called them because I was about to be like, yo, I dropped this thing off Saturday. What the heck? But yeah, so that package is gone, thankfully, and it should be there on time. But the other last upgrade to the shop that I made 2 upgrades to the shop. I changed my dust collection on my CNC to a 4-inch hose. I'm going to tell you right now, I thought I was doing fine with a 2.5-inch hose. No, if you're not doing a 4-inch hose and you have the ability, you need to, because PW and CNC's dust boots are good with a 2.5-inch, dust collection. But that 4-inch dust collection on them things, holy cats and dogs. I surfaced, okay? I surfaced that table that I did, and I did the carving and everything, and the only dust that hit the table was the dust that came out of the 4-inch hose when I pulled it off the dust boot. So, yeah, I've been missing out. I also upgraded my other dust collection, my good old Harbor Freight. So
I honestly think that helped a lot with, dust collection.
dude,
I think that was
I'm going to tell you
the
something
game
about
changer.
this. Win Environmental, okay? You look them up. And they actually have a whole thing where you answer a bunch of questions about your dust collection, and then they tell you which one you should use. So I got it, and I was like, why does this just fit on the inside? Because it was kind of weird to me that the filter didn't go around it, kind of like the P-Flux, the aluminum P-Flux dust collector that I have for my CNC. It has a filter that goes over the rim and has like a rubber grommet and all that stuff. Well, this one fits directly inside where the bag would have been over. And you secure it to the dust collection with some straps and stuff that they provide you. Well, as soon as I changed out to this actual filter, not a filter bag, the plume of dust that I normally got when I started my dust collection is gone. That no longer exists. So I'm not, putting airborne particles right on startup. But also, the suction on the DC is way better than it was. Like, I'm telling you, when I had dust collection at my table saw, it was nowhere near what it is now with that bag. The bag was not great. With this filter, it's actually doing what it's supposed to. Now, mind you, do I still get some dust from the table saw? Yes, because when I'm cutting stuff, you get the stuff that comes over the top. So unless you have that shroud, you're going to get it. It's going to happen. But it's still significantly less than it was. So if I were y'all, if you have the means, I would look into doing something like that too, because it's improved the air quality in the shop already. My little win that could, it's doing okay, but that also might need an upgrade, just because 6 months of the year I don't have my garage door open. So there's that. And then I ordered some stuff from Daniel Dunlap. I've seen him make a bunch of these zero clearance inserts. And honestly, I didn't feel like reinventing the wheel and spending all that time trying to create one myself. So I got a zero clearance insert for my saw stop and my DeWalt, because I'm not buying a new miter saw right now. The way I have my stuff set up, I'm not changing my whole setup to house a new miter saw. I know I had entertained the idea before, but I think I'm just going to go until this thing breaks. But other than that, those are all the upgrades and all the things I've done in the shop. Jobs I got going on. I'm not going to recap on the ones I've been talking about the past couple episodes. But what I will touch on is a Staff Sergeant shadow box I got to do, a ukulele plaque that I got to make. I actually
build one. Are you going to play?
I'm not going to build a full ukulele, but I am going to use drawings. I've actually already got the drawings. I found schematics of ukuleles online, and I was able to pull it and trace them out of the PDF file that they give you, or that you can download from the site that I found. And I was able to trace out the shapes, and I can now cut the specific pieces. So I'll do cherry base. I'm probably going to do a walnut neck, because I have a piece of scrap that offcut that I can use for that. And then obviously cherry, whatever you call that. The next part. I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to make that. That's my overseas job. They're paying for expedited shipping for that. Yeah. I'll let you know what that damage is once it happens.
Probably more than a project.
It
might be more than the project.
Close. The cutting board. I got a cutting board I'm going to make with C130 engraved in the middle of it. With
J or H model?
J.
Never mind. Garbage.
And then, yeah, those are all the sorry, I'm a newbie. Those are all the new jobs that I have.
It's Espen.
Yeah. And I'm going to be getting to work on those. I started working on a bunch of stuff. I've been doing better at keeping the shop clean while I'm doing stuff. It's got a couple things out right now from doing the dust collection upgrades and stuff, but I'll probably clean that up tomorrow before I get started working, because these next 3 days in the week, I'm going to be extra busy making things, getting things done. I went back to my planner because I started losing track of jobs. Not losing track and not getting them done, but like, oh, I probably should do that because it's on a piece of paper and I actually have a deadline associated with these things.
Never done that before.
Mm-hmm.
Representing H model days.
Oh God. Living the heyday, I see.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's go to the shop. It's all the things that I'm making, all things going. We're counting down like 2.5 weeks now, and then baby's born.
You're getting excited. You guys prepped. You're ready. You got everything you need. You got diapers. You need lots of diapers.
I think we have diapers. No, we have diapers.
Oh my God. Help this man.
No, we know better from the first one. I mean, then again, we had like almost 300 diapers when Zane was born. So
and
we were off to a good start. Yeah. Josh went on the registry and he blessed us with some things. That bassinet is set up with all his like little baby stuff. His little all the
can't
stuff
just give me credit, man. It was Heather too.
Josh and family.
There we go.
Probably mostly Heather, honestly. Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, it was. It was mostly Heather.
Oh no, I'm good. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Ooh, twins.
No, there's no Josh.
Then you have.
But that's coming. My brother actually called me before the podcast today, and he let me know that he's actually for the first time in 10 years, I will get to spend Christmas with my brother. Ooh. And his fiance. Actually, no, he proposed to. It's Andrew, the Navy kid.
No, I know. I'm trying to think of the last time I spent Christmas with my brother.
He's doing a road trip. He's going to see his best friend in Minnesota. He actually invited me to go ice fishing. I have reservations about that. It's up at Devil's Lake. Dude, the whole falling through the ice thing, it just doesn't.
No. Oh, yeah, there's always. I caught one of the biggest, biggest pickerel of my life ice fishing.
We'll see what happens. I might do it just because it'd be cool opportunity. One, go meet his friend, his best friend, in fact, and also get to do some stuff with my brother. We argue a lot about dumb stuff, but it's mostly military related because he thinks he knows more still. But yeah, it's great. I hate it, but I love when we talk about that stuff because he talks like we talked when we were young in the military, and I'm just like,
oh, that irritating.
You just don't know.
You just smile and nod because eventually,
and he's a junior officer, so that's the best part. So, what does it say? Yeah, what is it we're supposed to do with junior officers, right? You know,
mentor.
Mm-hmm. He takes that with a grain of salt, and because I'm his older brother, so there's that. But yeah, so he'll be here for the 21st till Christmas Day, so 25th, and him and his fiance will depart for Texas. At which point I'll still have the in-laws here and whatnot, and they'll be here to help us with Asher when he's born.
Josh Jr., aka.
No.
It's all in good fun.
Got to buy my ticket here to Josh's place because, we're going to be driving to Workbench Con from Illinois, which would be cool. Get to catch up with some people and maybe reintroduce ourselves to some people. Seems we've lost touch with some folks. Maybe reconnect. Well, who knows?
For both of us, I think this year has been different.
That it has. And honestly, it'll be cool to see people again, But we're going to experience Workbench Con in a whole nother manner, though. Man, last year was cool, but this year, double booth, freaking interactive stuff. It's going to be...
just the ATC and all the new stuff coming out, and it's exciting for everybody. I mean, like PWNCC Danny over there and his team, and they're coming out with some amazing stuff. And if you didn't catch the Black Friday sale, I'm sorry, that was a pretty amazing sale. Yeah, it's exciting. And we were talking about this not too long ago. When we go down there, we represent Daniel, PWNCC. We represent the podcast and our own businesses. But it's cool because in a way that kind of, for me at least, it shows that we're there for the community. We're there for Daniel. We're there for ourselves. We're there for the podcast and, get together with other people, talk to them, see how they're doing. But yeah, we definitely have to make Maker Camp because I think having both I have always noticed people talking about Maker Camp at Workbench Con, and then it's like you get to meet them twice a year. You're a little more up to date on everything, and it's just, I'm sold. Definitely sold.
Yeah, and like for Maker Camp, like I'll see where I'm at in my life and my career and those things. Workbench Con was something we already had planned. As far as Maker Camp, that would be cool. I just got to see what's going on because as it is, they're already, they've already got plans for me to move, after my year in my current position. So we'll see what happens with that.
Maker Camp.
But yeah, pretty excited for what's that?
Tim in the chat goes, Maker Camp is king.
Yeah, I heard it's a really good time, so it might be something we do. But yeah, so that's really it. That's all that's going on in my neck of the woods. I think that's really it, right? Yeah. My office is a mess again. I keep cleaning it, and then hunting took over.
It's used, man. This is like a house. Like they're not meant to be perfectly clean or shop. Mm-hmm. So, if that's wrapping it up for your shop, I'll hit on mine fairly quickly. So I was able to pull up some patches and kind of talk to that a little bit. I actually bought myself a patch fabric thingamabob, and I was able to actually utilize all the patches I've wore over the years and put them on that. And I took it to work because it's like 4 foot long and 2 feet wide. And I didn't realize how many patches that I've worn over the years. It covered most of them. So it was nice to kind of see that all laid out, a lot of history and memories. So that's why I have a lot of extra ones here that I didn't even realize were extra. Like this particular one right here. I didn't know I had 2 of these. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, going more into woodworking. Yeah, I have C-130 patches that I wore. I have KC-10 patches, command patches, the leather jacket patches, my AMC patch, you name it. Anyway, so I was showing you guys this snake earlier when I was, pausing for effect. I'll be sending this over to Eric there from Designs by Red Raven. And he wanted one of these to go along with his spider I made him. And it's kind of like a work trade. I told him to give me his byproduct from turning because we might have for our Patreons. I think Santa Claus came because
there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming. Not a lot of stuff as like we have to send it all out. You guys are gonna get like 5 things. Don't worry about it. No, it's gonna be great. Hopefully, you guys are gonna enjoy this year. It's we're gonna try to make sure we do this every year. We're trying to plan ahead. That way we can get out to you around Christmas if we can. But we hope you enjoy it. It's definitely hopefully a perk of being part of the Patreon and the top tier. And we'll send those out as soon as we can. Big news coming up as well. We'll be sending out the questions here. I think Friday is beginning of December. Is that correct? So we should have those 6 questions out to you guys. We'll be posting them on our private pages as long as our business pages, as long as the Sawdust Nation podcast page and anywhere else. That way you guys have access to it. Basically, when you fill that out, go ahead and send it to our email. We'll double check against our fancy dancy answer key. If you have answered all the questions correctly, we'll go ahead and enter your name into the giveaway. And the only thing you got to do is show up and be there if your name's called. So that's going to be pretty cool. Someone's going to win a ticket to Workbench Con. And, if you're a Patreon, you get 3 extra tries. So you get 2 entries in the main one and then an extra giveaway just for the Patreons, by themselves. So you get definitely some opportunities. I can't wait to see who wins that. I really hope that someone that wants to go and it kind of like changes their year. I love seeing when people get stuff from our podcast. It's giving back to community is definitely the best part of doing this. Going back into my shop, I want to get those important things out. I mentioned previously I did a plaque. Now I did it to basically what the customer wanted. And this is kind of like going back to my story of interaction with a client and how that was going. I finally got paid. and I needed to get it out as soon as possible because I know it's their fault for not giving it to me late, but I like them to be happy. So I took the time and I knocked it out for them. But I didn't, it's very, 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 very few and far between when I don't like a project I make. And it wasn't like something was wrong with it. It didn't have a feature, we could joke about. It just I didn't like what they wanted on it. It didn't feel to me like it was clean, and I don't know. It was just a preference of mine. I haven't received it yet, which I don't know why they haven't. I just checked while we're on here, saying there by Friday, but I paid for 3 days, so who knows? You got to imagine around Christmas time, stuff like that. Stuff is just crazy, so I'll chalk it off to that. But as I mentioned before, I also have another rush project that was due at the end of this month, which gave me at least a day or two to go ahead and get it shipped out and then make it around that time frame. But apparently the person's leaving early, so I'm going to try to work with the client, see if they still want me to make it or refund them or what the deal is. I don't mind making it and shipping it directly to the individual or their follow-on base. That way they can receive it. I just want to make sure that's, something in the realms of what they want to do. I have snowflakes to make this weekend on the laser. And then I have some other projects to knock out. Getting that patch fabric and be able to display those kind of got me in the mood to hook up my coins as well. So I've been really trying to design what I want to do with my coins. I have a couple ideas. I have an idea that's going to take a lot of time to do, and I want to do something in the meantime. So maybe do a nice flag display, coin holder, or like a torn flag. And I have a couple different ideas I'm kind of tossing around that's going to incorporate some of the things I do in the shop and starting to do. But I want to make it something different, something, I'm proud of. And so it's hard to do when you can make anything. And I say make anything, we have the capability to. Not that we do it good or, patting ourselves on the back. So, with the corporation of a couple of jobs, I'm getting pinged for here and there, making stuff for myself and the family. I had to buy some epoxy so I can go ahead and do our side, our nightstands upstairs and the headboard. I had the wood and everything for that. So I'm prepped and ready. I have a lot I could be doing in the shop. I've been trying to get time out there, and when I get time, I go ahead and I make the most of it. I actually put together 2 Ahsoka lightsabers, large and the short one. I don't know if they have a proper name. For a friend of mine, I got that out to him. I just been knocking things out as groups as I get time. Life continues to get busy. I talked a lot about the season of life last episode because there was a lot of frustration with like sleep progression and, kids are not eating their food and stuff like that. They're life stressors, right? And then this week I'm taking a class online while I'm at work. So part of my job, I have to actually accrue credit hours every year. It's a requirement of my job. So my job requires me to go take college classes and stay up to date on a lot of these OSHA, ANSI, NFPA type regulations because they're constantly changing as technology grows and building structures and how we develop everything changes. So I am diving into that head first by taking a couple classes, the class this week and a class, I think in the beginning of December. So next week. So back to back, I'll be taking classes. And earning most of my CDUs for the year, but I might end up in New Mexico sometime next year to do I think it's a 2-week class. So doing that, I have a very large report I'm writing right now. And then I realized Monday when I sat down, we kind of did a huddle. I have like 14 things I got to do by the end of the week. Definitely not going to get done with all of them. Nap, I know you feel that sometimes too. But it's definitely a hustle this week to try to get it done, especially before the holidays, because I don't want to have to deal with it. I'd rather suffer for a week, do as much as I can, get it knocked out, and not have so much later on. So with doing that, the workshop, obviously family stuff, Kids are going to start basketball here soon, so they're going to add that to the schedule. Like I said, it's getting busy. Excuse me. Kind of skipping back to the wood shop here. So I don't know if you know, but Totalboat has released a new deep pouring epoxy called Phantom. And I applied to actually get on their system where you basically utilize their product and then they pay you back once you do the social media posts and everything associated and they approve it. There's no secret behind this, so I can share it. It's available to everyone now. I was accepted to the program. So I'll be doing that for my epoxy pours because I'm interested to try the new product, and it's a deep pour, and it's kind of where I'm going with these two next products. Not only am I trying to get enough to do the side nightstand tables, but the backboard, and I'm going to make my Star Wars lamp that I've been trying to make for what seems like a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah. I have the pieces laying around. I see them every day, and it's just one of those things that's starting to get to me because I know they're there, and I can just knock it out. I just need to make a form. But yeah, a lot going on. I wish there was more shop stories and time I can explain different things. I will say I am very good at maximizing my material. I have yet to have to buy material yet since I've been here. But I am definitely coming up on that time where I'm going to have to start buying material, which is, always fun. I definitely know I can get from my normal sources because a lot of those were online. I have a lumber yard I'm pretty excited about. Actually, there's a woodworker that's across the street up here. He came by and bought some walnut off me. I gave him a very figured piece of walnut and a smaller piece. And I let him he's like, how much owe you? I'm like, I don't know. How much do you want to pay? And, I think it was fair. It was a very figured piece. I was trying to be nice. Hopefully he caught on to that, but, yeah, maybe we'll talk more. Who knows? He reached out to me first, so maybe next time his shop is open, I might walk over and kind of go over some of the different things that I do and he does. And I don't want to step on his toes, which I don't think I will, but yeah, long story short, it's kind of what's happening in my neck of the woods here. A lot of cool stuff during the holidays usually pop up. Kind of waiting for that to happen. But honestly, if it doesn't, I'm okay with a slow year this year, especially with everything that's going on. Still getting my feet wet at work. The family's still settling in as much as we've been here for almost 5 months now. But with a new puppy, there's been changes nonstop. So, puppy. So update on that if anyone cares to hear about this. If you know how to get a dog to stop chewing on stuff, please reach out.
I can tell you right now.
What?
So the wife, when she got her pit bull mix, he would do the same thing. They put a little chili powder. They'll never do it again.
Well, the thing is like, there's times where she'll grab something and she won't chew it. She wants you to chase after and play. And like, that's acceptable. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? I can literally, if I'm home, I can tell her to drop. She'll drop it. She listens very well. It's when she becomes unmonitored, like outside or downstairs, where she's a hellion. So my grill, the line that goes to the propane tank, got chewed off when I was at work. Luckily, I can replace the line. But she didn't stop there. She ate the pumice stone to clean it. She also tore up the cover. And wouldn't you know it rained the very next day. So, and it's a black stone. So, when it rains, it pours, right? And then there was a air filtration plug that she chewed off. And like, we had a problem not too long ago where she chewed my laptop cord out. And it doesn't happen. I know it seems like I'm saying a lot of things she's chewed up, but that's like the entirety of how, when we've had her. She's done some other stuff here and there, but I'm more concerned about her health when she does this stuff because I don't know what she's eating. But I mean, like, she's a puppy. I can imagine, that's how they're meant to be. Discover the world with chewing on it. Well, I've been giving her bones and everything in between to kind of help prevent it, but it is what it is. She's a good dog. She's really coming around, behaving and stuff. It's just really the chewing. Like I can literally play with her roughhouse, and she won't hurt me. She plays nice. I can tell her stop and she'll stop, which is, I think, pretty impressive for her age. She listens for the most part. She plays, I don't want to say plays dead, but she, like, when she don't want to move, she becomes like dead weight. And her dead weight is like, I don't know, I would almost imagine, say, up in the high 30s right now, maybe 40s. So it's a lot of dead weight. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on in my neck of the woods. And I kind of said that already, but, just a lot of different things. And I know this podcast is kind of tilted and shifted from heavy woodworking to, like, just us talking about the shop and different things, and even our, life and our hunting, which we didn't hit on.
Shut up.
Okay. This poor guy. So, like, I thought he was hunting because he took all that leave. And I sent him, I don't know how many memes. There had to have been like 20, 25 memes back to back. And he's like, I'm at work. I'm at work. So I sent him like 10 more. But yeah, that's an episode. We talked about a lot. We talked about private life. We talked about work. We talked about the, things coming up. The giveaway, if you didn't catch that, definitely go back and listen because it's important. But the most important thing I want to hit on just before we close this out is we're going to do a 2-part episode so that we can get everyone together. We can do a long episode and kind of have the holidays without any kind of worry. I want our listeners' help. In the last episode, I included after the music, the outro, but I want to hit it before we even close out this time. If you listen to the podcast, record a 30-second, 10-second, I don't care, soundbite of just who you are, what you're thankful for, what you like about the podcast. We don't, just something nice, and send it to our email at Sawdustnationpodcast@gmail.com. What I'd like to do is part of that 2-part episode include in both parts, those sound bites, because, I keep hitting on this, but this is entirely about community for us. And we want to show that with those 2 episodes. So do me a favor, take a couple minutes out of your day, knock it out for me, and then I'll be able to edit that in, and it could be definitely community episodes. So with that, without further ado, as he's taking a drink, we're going to toss over to Nap for his outro.
Yeah, folks. So we're coming to the end of another great month, busy month, and we're about to go into our last month of the year. I would say over the next month, and we'll say 2 days, maybe do some reflecting. Start, thinking about how your year went, things you could do better, things you can do better differently, I guess is the same thing.
Do better.
Better. Start setting some goals. I know that I'm going to be setting some goals for this next year. Between being a little more involved in the shop, I'm probably going to be cutting down on. Josh hit on this last episode about going to just like specific things. I'm going to start cutting down on certain things I will and will not make, and not just because I can't, but because some things are just more laborious. And in the current position that I'm in now, making quick things is easier than always finding like random custom things to make for people. But that's for another episode. But start reflecting and make sure we're checking on each other because, again, community is only strong as the people that are in it. So let's make sure that the people we know and maybe even heard from in a while, check on them, see how they're doing. But outside of that, keep taking care of each other. Keep kicking ass in the shop. And we'll see you next episode for the giveaway.
So I want to add on to what Nap said about keeping in touch with people you ever heard of. Do me a favor. I know I'm asking for a lot of favors this episode, but bear with me. During the holidays, reach out to 2 people. Ask how they're doing if you ever heard from them. Check up on them. And then ask those people to reach out to 2 people. And you can see how that can grow very fast. If we just do that, we can reach a lot of different people and make sure they're being okay and, safe and happy through the holidays. You can change someone's world just by reaching out. And if you haven't ever experienced that, I guarantee once you do, it's easier to reach out to people. But with that, thank you for listening to episode 179. This next episode coming up is going to be kind of crazy. The next episode is our giveaway. So that's going to be on December 5th. So be there on our YouTube. Make sure that you're watching for those questions that we're going to be posting and send them to our email so we can check them over and enter your name. We're looking forward to seeing who wins that giveaway. We've been talking about it all year. Hopefully it's fun for everybody. And go make some sawdust in your shop. And with that, Sawdust Nation Podcast, ouch. Ouch, see?
Bye.
Do the turkey again. What other sounds can you make, Nat?
Save that for another episode.
Ooh. Might be unrated.